Hi everybody, Corey at Gemini Guitar. Today we've got a bit of spooky fun on our hands and we're going to learn some Gothic style riffs utilising some arpeggiated tritone intervals and some colourful descending ideas. So let's see how we go. Okay, so to begin with, we utilise an E5 power chord in the second position with the notes E and B and our open string 6. What's going to happen here is we're going to basically move back and forth between the 6th string, then down to the 4th and 3rd, and then follow that by alternating between the 4th and 3rd string like this. All you've got to do on the second bar is replace the B note with the flatted 5th, which in this case is B flat. Same picking pattern. So this is what we get. When we reach the 3rd bar, we're going back to our E5 with the open string 6, only this time we're ending with the open E and B strings. At the end of the 4th bar, we utilise the open 2nd string this time along with the flatted 5th, so it's a little bit different to bar 2. So bars 3 and 4. In bar 5 we're back to our E5 again with the open 6th, but we slide up at the end from the 4th fret to the 7th fret, like this. Basically you've just got to slide back then out of that and back into the tritone interval, so the E and the B flat note with string 6, and ending like we did in bar 4. So bars 5 and 6. In bar 7 we slide up at the end from fret 4 to 9 after using our E5 power chord. Now an interesting idea occurs at this point, so what I'm doing is now utilising an E minor arpeggio, first in the 7th position where we slid up to the 9th fret, that's our root note E. In the next bar then we progress to the 8th fret, which is the G note, that's the 3rd. And finally the B note, which is the 5th, so we have the notes E, G and B, which, if played together, form an E minor triad. So this bar and the next bar, I'll just demonstrate them and then I'm going to show you what happens at the end of bar 8. So what I did after the initial E minor triad, I then progressed up to the 12th position utilising the notes E, B, G and E. Played together again, this forms a small E minor chord. You may wish to roll your finger between the notes. If not, you can just sort of nudge your way up from string to string. That works as well. Plus you get some cool percussive overtones through doing that. Subtle, but they're there. So to practice that, you would simply go back to your first arpeggio, progress then into the next one. So if you're new to position shifting, that's what you do to begin with. Just get used to the act of going from note to note and position to position. Okay, I'll just play those 2 bars again. Now we arrive at the second half of the piece. Now what we're going to do here is first place our first finger at fret 12 on the 3rd string, that's our G note. 15th fret 2nd string, which is our D note. Now these 2 notes actually form a higher G5 power chord. Although you'd hardly call them a power chord, they don't sound that powerful, they're more of a melodic sort of power chord. Along with that we introduce the open 6. Now what we're going to do here is a similar picking pattern to the introduction. All you've got to do then is basically descend these 2nd string notes, so starting at 15, then 14, then 13, and then 12. At the end of the, the 13th bar, sorry, 12th bar, we're going to finish off with placing our 4th finger up at the 15th fret on string 1. So I'm just going to play these 4 bars for you slowly. That's 9 to 12. By the way, try to keep everything ringing out throughout. Now for the last quarter of the piece, we're basically going to start a little bit like we did in bar 9, except this time we're going to introduce the sliding effect again. So at the end of this bar, sliding from the 15th to the 17th fret. And this is what it sounds like. It's a little hard to get that to be fully audible there, but just do your best to pick this note, 15th fret, which is the D note, as hard as you can. That will get the most volume when sliding. Go back into the 12th position. This time we're going to lower the D note down by a half step to the 14th fret, like we did in the previous section. And again though, we're sliding at the end, this time from the 14th fret to the 17th fret. So we've got a bit of a common theme between bars 13 and 14. I'll play these 2 bars so you can check them out. Okay, so now for the second last bar and finally the last bar. Basically what I'm doing here is a double stop with the open string 6. That's the G note 12 on the 3rd string and the C note fret 13 on the 2nd string. With the open string 6. I'm also using the 15th fret on string 1, and this is the picking pattern. So this adds a more biting melodic characteristic basically. Now to finish things off, this is an interesting chord. It's basically an E flat 5, except we're also including the 5th as the highest note, the B note. So in fact we have the root note E, the flat 5, B flat, and the B note on string 1. And played together they sound quite haunting. Play it with open 6. This is a very creative chord, so you can just muck around with it and come up with all sorts of patterns and ways of using it. You could strum it, but picking it's probably the most effective way to do it. course, to end with, I'm just doing a very simple idea, just picking from the 3rd, 2nd to 1st string. Okay, here's the complete piece at a slower tempo. As always, don't forget to check out the website, geminiguitar.com.au. It's packed full of free lessons along with transcriptions of those lessons. There's also a few articles posted there by myself, so you can check that out too and have fun with it. Happy Halloween, and until the next lesson, bye for now.